What's up, everybody? Welcome to Punchy TV. We're back here. We got a little bit of a show for you. We're here with the folks. We're here with the peeps.
We're here.
The Punchy peeps are here.
We
got Billy, and we got Derrick. Of course, the American Anchor Baby and Hake reporter here.
What's up, everybody?
It's a pleasure to be back live.
Good evening.
And what can I say? We're just going to take it easy today. A couple topics to get into. And I think we'll take calls too, no? 888-775-3773. Should be just a chill return to Punchy. Some topics, lots going on. And what can I say? It's a pleasure to have you guys back and all the viewers. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday.
We're live on Wednesday, and we're doing it live.
We're doing
Forget
it live.
Nice.
Shout out.
So what's up, Hake, Derrick,
Not
Bill?
much.
I see those
y'all?
gains. Yeah.
You
I see those gains, man.
You're
I see
seeing
those
the
gains. Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, man. I'm seeing them.
Incredible.
He's been exercising.
Sorry, just powerful. Yeah.
It's our first show in a few weeks, by the way. As many of you guys know, no Joel Friday. No more Joel Friday. Wish him well.
Mm-hmm.
And the views expressed on this show do not represent Bond or JLP or the network or even ourselves.
I like that you say that. That's actually kind of true. That most people don't know what they're saying, right? The next day they could be like, "Oops."
You come back later, and you're like, what was I talking about?
I never do that, right? That's why you guys watch my show. I never do such a thing. Anyways, what's up, Tim? CSAL, Mr. Pink, everybody, mildly attractive, Harmony, and everybody rolling in. So there's a couple things to get into.
Nice.
And the first one I have for you guys is an interesting one. Okay. Christianity is being debated somewhat right now.
Nice.
Going viral because of an individual you guys might remember. His name is Stefan Molyneux.
Stefan Molyneux.
Stefan Molyneux. He's like a
fellow Canadian.
Canadian guy. He was running Free Domain Radio for a while.
I think he still is.
And still is, I believe. And basically, he's kind of back on the internet. We're starting to see him on X, making all sorts of posts, and that's kind of the news on Stefan. He's Stefan. He's back.
Yeah.
He's posting. I've seen some of his videos out there.
He's a fan of JLP. He's been on The Fallen State. He interviewed JLP multiple times.
Oh yeah.
He had like a huge YouTube presence, like 1 million YouTube subscribers, and then they nuked him, called him a white supremacist or something.
Oh.
And he's like, no, but he was too late, too big, and they knock him down.
Yeah,
terrible.
Too effective, too popular with the topics he shouldn't be talking about. But yeah, he got like suspended in 2020 off of X, and then before that off of all sorts of other things.
True.
And I remember not hearing about him for a while.
Yep.
I know he's probably working at it, but
he disappeared off the face of the map. I would see him only on Odyssey, BitChute, and maybe Rumble.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up about censorship.
Yeah, you forget about him completely. Depersoned.
That it somewhat works in a sense for those that like the censorship. That it works somewhat is messed up. But at this point, we kind of know that. I know that there's like the Streisand effect or whatever. Some people, they get canceled or whatever, and that actually makes it more popular. Right. All the attention it brings them.
True.
But hey, not everyone.
Is that because Barbara Streisand was anti-war or something like that?
You know what?
But the whole government is and like there was a big part of the government and the lamos who are also anti-war. So she was just trendy.
No. It was after Barbara Streisand attempted to suppress the publication of a photograph showing her clifftop residence in Malibu.
Oh.
Inadvertently drawing far greater attention to the previously obscure photograph.
Oops.
So, Stefan's on it, and he's going viral. He's starting off this conversation concerning forgiveness and Christianity.
Nice.
And it's an interesting conversation. Basically, it starts off with an X post he made. And it reads, if you forgive people who have not genuinely repented, you are participating in their sin. And it's kicked off a whole bunch of conversations. I'm just, sorry, Bill, I took over the switcher there for a second, just trying to show people Stefan Molyneux's tweet here. If you forgive people who have not genuinely repented, you are participating in their sin. And he has a number of conversations that this spawned, and I'll bring them up. He has a clip describing some of this trauma he says he went through as a child and the problems he has with Christianity and his parents. And I kind of want to just get into it, see what you guys think, kind of loosey-goosey.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right? And it's going off. Like, a lot of people are getting in on the conversation. And it seems like it seems to me like he's standing alone somewhat. Seems like the common refrain is there's people telling Stefan that he's not understanding Christian forgiveness, and he's wrong essentially. But let me pick some of these choice tweets here, and then we'll play the clip.
Nice.
See if you guys have any thoughts already. I'm sure the clip will get us into it here, but
yeah, let's get into that.
he says, for example, let me pull this up. He says, anger is the immune system of the soul, designed to keep you and those you love safe from being preyed upon and exploited. It is your primary defense against evil. The immune system lies largely passive until you are under biological siege. Then it responds aggressively to keep you safe. All those who counsel me to let go of anger when attacked by evildoers are serving the corrupt by telling me to disarm myself. He says no to that.
That's an interesting parallel because the immune system, when you have an allergic reaction, you sneeze a lot or whatever happens, isn't that your immune system overreacting to an attack on your body?
Inflammation.
Your immune system is working too good. Well, not too good, but it's overreacting. It's an immune overreaction, I think.
I think you're onto something, and when I think about inflammation, I hear that it's pretty negative for a lot of structures in the body, and that's what happens when you have an infection, when your immune system attacks something, the whole area gets inflamed, and they say that this inflammation doesn't just hurt.
It's supposed to help, but it can also hurt.
Right. So that's an interesting parallel to dive in on. So you know what? How about I play this clip? Because this conversation has been going for a bit, and he released this video, and then we could just kind of get into it. So
Nice.
here's just him, so you could hear him out a little bit, see him, and kind of get a taste of what Stefan is thinking here. And he's back on X. So, oh Lord, Bill,
Help.
you got to press the input button on the hyperdeck.
Why?
No, don't unmute that. Mute that back. Here, I'll do it.
Oh yeah, tell him what's up. Yeah, put him to work.
Complicated business, folks.
All right, so let's play this clip.
What a mess.
Here we go. Stefan Molyneux. I'll play right here.
I say I suffered under great evils as a child, violence and madness and all kinds of stuff. And one of the things, of course, that was kind of impossible to miss was that I was surrounded by Christians. I went to church many times a week when I was in boarding school. I was in the choir, and I was surrounded by Christians. We were in apartments with paper-thin walls, and the violence and all of that was occurring. Everyone could hear it and so on. And, we're not talking sort of personal confrontation, but, a phone call to the authorities would have probably changed things quite a bit. And possibly for the better, I think. So I was surrounded by family members who were Christians, extended family who were Christians, priests, teachers, neighbors. Nobody asked me how they could help. Nobody called the authorities. Nobody talked to my mother. These are sort of facts. As a moral philosopher, I'm analogous to a doctor who is trying to cure one disease and one disease only, and that disease is evil. Otherwise, we are doomed as a species to self-destruction. Right? There has to be a cure for evil. Now, of course, in the curing of evil, I have two major competitors. People who believe in God, believe in the moral rules of God, right? God gives you these moral rules. So people who believe in God believe in these moral rules, and therefore they should be better than people who don't believe in God. Right?
He says right. He is off with right. I definitely cut that down and summarized what he was saying there. But if you got the gist, he says he's trying to cure evil, and he stands in opposition with religion at many times for that, in that pursuit, curing evil. And to add one more tidbit here, he mentions his mother, And in some of these conversations, he mentions just the abuse that he received from his parents, from his mother, and how she's not deserving of forgiveness in that sense, because he would be participating in her sin, like he started this conversation off. So I feel like I've given you quite a bit already. If you guys have any kind of thoughts about that initially, how could a Christian respond to Stefan, or what are you guys even thinking about all this so far?
You know, I saw his posts on X about forgiveness, and you forgive the unrepentant, you're participating in the sin like you showed. And he pointed out, because somebody talked about Jesus, and Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He also said the Romans who were crucifying were following the law, and it was in front of everybody, whereas these Christians or whoever was abusing him as a kid or whatever happened to him as a kid, they did it in the dark and pretended to be good people. And so what Jesus said about forgive them, they know not what they do, doesn't apply, he was saying.
Oh, I didn't see that.
But I don't think that that's true, because he wasn't just talking about forgive the Romans. I think he was saying forgive the Jews, and everybody was for crucifying him. And there were a lot of sneaky people involved in trying to crucify him. Mm-hmm. And I think that people are caught up in what they're doing. They kind of know, but they also kind of are just blind in their doing of evil. And also, I think that he doesn't understand that you can forgive him, but you can also stay away from him. I think
that's a total disconnect I see of people. When you mention it, it's almost like a light bulb sometimes.
Right.
That way you could do that. They totally married forgiveness as a meaning you have to now have a relationship and be all like, it's all the emotions and that's all the outside. Like it has to look right, and we're holding hands and we're friends again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I've heard Jesse mention that to people. Like, you don't have to now hang out with them. You just have to forgive them. And they're like, whoa, light bulb moment.
Totally.
Yeah. Can we pull that tweet back up about?
Yeah, which one? The participating in sin?
Yeah, about participating in sin.
Yeah, let me show it right here. If you forgive people who have not genuinely repented, you are participating in their sin.
Yeah, can we keep that one? I don't really see. You know what? I'll just give my opinion real quick. Participating in their sin. This is really going to turn into like a semantics argument, but the whole definition of sin, I'd have to ask him exactly because it sounds like he's thinking sin is like an action, mm-hmm. But my interpretation of biblically of what sin is, it's identifying with what Satan plants in your mind, believing that Jesus didn't, that you still need to be forgiven for your sins, that acts like lusting and things like that are deemed as sin. It's like, though biblically, yeah, they are. I'm talking more of right now of what sin is, and that's identifying with it, not the action, but more identifying with it, if that makes sense.
I think so. Yeah. Were you about to say something? I wanted to ask, do you think you could participate in someone's sin? Can you participate in someone else's sin?
I don't necessarily agree with that. You can participate in... Because he's like, if you forgive people who have not genuinely repented... I mean, I don't think that can affect you at all. Like, Jesus even said, well, and look at the way Jesus lived. He didn't hang around, he hung around the people that were deemed as like evil, corrupt, whatever you want to call it. He didn't hang around the so-called goody two-shoes. He went to the slums, He hung around those types. So
did he hang out with abusers?
Abusers, yeah. tax
Not
collector,
drug
whatever.
abusers, child abusers,
Child abusers.
Oh, true.
Oh, I don't know.
Like
I don't
what
know about
Stefan
that.
Molyneux may
evil
have.
parents.
Evil parents.
Yeah, evil
Maybe.
parents. Yeah.
I mean, if he hung out with tax collectors, I think he hung out with evil parents.
yeah, probably
Why-
so. All those guys.
I don't even see them as that evil, tax collectors.
I know.
Like, I grew up in this world, but
I
I guess they were really
Tax coll-
evil in the Bible, apparently.
tax collectors. I just playing. No,
But
no,
yeah,
I don't.
I don't know if I
yeah,
could
no.
participate in someone's sin like that.
Yeah, I don't really agree with that.
There's a way that you're doing it sometimes, because there is I think even Christians most of the time don't understand what forgiveness is. And so there's all these Christians preaching at Stefan Molyneux about forgiveness, and they haven't even done it themselves.
Can I give you his definition of forgiveness?
Sure, yeah, because I'd be curious what that even means.
He had actually responded to someone asking him to define this basically. He says, "Great question. Thank you for asking. Forgiveness is the acknowledgement that the person who has wronged you has made things right. If a person borrows your car and put a big dent in it, they should pay to get it fixed." Does that make sense? And then he agreed with someone who responded about Deuteronomy saying how you should repay damage 120% and fix the damage and pay some of the hassle.
Go back up to it, to what he said.
To what he said?
Forgiveness is the acknowledgement that the person who wronged you has made things right. I don't know where he gets that. Go.
Lower it.
Yeah.
And if a
Okay.
person borrows your car and put a big dent in it, they should pay to get it fixed.
And then you forgive them.
Oh, so he's saying, once we get even, then
Bingo.
that's forgiveness right there. Yeah, I think
Right.
his outlook on forgiveness is wrong. It's wrong.
Tell us.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, man, yeah, anyway.
Forgiveness, it sounds like you're, it's almost like you're giving it to them. It's almost like you let them have it, kind of a thing. You know
That's
what I mean?
it is, you're saying.
Yeah,
That's
you
what it
let-
should be.
At least in terms of what human beings are, because we have no power anyway to make anything right. Because you still did the wrong, and oftentimes it's because it was a violation of trust. It wasn't like just an accident. It was a evil that you actually did, and so I'm not going to trust you anymore. You show that you can't be trusted, and so, but forgiveness is not necessarily trusting them again, but not holding it against them anymore.
Yeah, I agree. That is so true. And his form of forgiveness is sounding transactional. I dent your car. You got to pay me back 120%.
Right.
And then I
That's
forgive
all.
you.
It's only right. I
And
guess.
I think once you really understand, like, everybody on this earth is, corrupted by sin. And that's why Jesus had to die on the cross for us. That's when you'll realize, oh, shoot, I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. We're all messed up, fighting this battle. And, yeah,
It's
that's
like,
the real war.
it's like there's a difference between human beings' so-called forgiveness and God's actual forgiveness. Because human beings' forgiveness is realizing we didn't even have a right to hold anything against each other in the first place. Whereas God actually had something that he could hold against us. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
Jelly
He's the just one.
God is.
And yeah. And everybody's sinning against each other and sinning against God mainly. And so his anger is just, our anger is unjust. And so our forgiveness, if we're being like, well, I forgive you, that's kind of self-righteous. Whereas God's forgiveness is not self-righteous. It is righteous.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Self is kind of fake, right? So it's self-righteous, it's fake righteous.
Yeah.
And I myself forgiving you, that's fake.
Because you're
But if I realize I can't hold anything against you, I'm evil too. Then it's
I got
kind of
you.
acknowledging
Yeah.
God.
you're pretending like you don't have evil. You're
Right.
pretending like you're better than them.
There's the parable of the servant who was owed a little bit by another servant, and then the master forgave the servant who was owed a little bit. Let's say you owe me $5, but I owe God like 100 or 1,000. God forgave me. And I go to you and like I start choking you. Give me my $5.
It's my money.
And then God's like, "What are you doing, James?" And he throws me in jail until I pay back the $1,000. He unforgave my
That's a parable?
what he forgave me. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I never heard that one.
It's not that God did it, but the master.
That's a cool one. I like that one.
So it's understandable that Molyneux wouldn't believe in forgiveness, at least not like because he doesn't believe in God. But also he has this understanding of forgiveness where if you don't forgive them, the law doesn't punish them anymore. But the law represents God. You know, the law that kills murderers or executes murderers or whatever. Sorry, YouTube, just kidding. The law is the arm of God to like mete out actual justice. It's not supposed to be about forgiveness or not forgiveness between people. You're supposed to still forgive the murderer, but also do the punishment.
Right, there's a
The
separation there.
the lawful punishment has nothing to do with whether you forgive from the heart or not. It's like within, like the inside world is what's actually matters in people.
I got you, man.
Yeah.
That's true.
But are you a coward for not confronting evildoers, like Stefan Molyneux says?
Well, yeah. A lot of times the Christians are cowards, and they will be like, "Oh, I forgive him," but that's because of their cowards, and they won't actually confront the evildoer.
See, I was thinking about forgiveness too, and I was like, okay, let me try and approach this. How do I put it? Like practically and rationally, if I was speaking to, because he's into philosophy, and he's like, let me bring philosophical answers to free people up from the shackles of the world, which include religion and just different things like wrong thinking and mentalities. And so I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, okay, if you want to get rid of evil, like, how would I say this? It's like, even rationally, it doesn't make sense to hold on to anger. Because if you were thinking of it rationally, like, how do I make myself better? How do I lead a better life or eradicate evil? Well, what is evil? Evil makes everything worse. Evil degenerates and gets worse. Good gets better. And when you're someone that holds on to anger no matter what, even if they don't get it, even if they never repent, you're only hurting yourself. It's like, I think you could arrive to this rationally, but like even in Stefan Molyneux's world, I don't think he's thinking about it rationally, even at least some part. But I don't blame him.
Yeah, on some level it is because, well, I think it's like him arguing with these Christians is like two blind people, two blind parties, we'll call it.
You might be right.
Arguing about stuff, and they're both kind of right, but they're both totally wrong.
In fact, and there are calls coming in. Thank you so much. 888-775-3773. There's no call screener, so don't go anywhere.
We will get to you.
We see you. We will get to you. I might have some Christians fighting about this for you. Where was it? He's just to add to what you're saying here. He says God doesn't save children. I think here it is, and he's basically calling out Christians who did nothing. You know, I mean, you saw that in the video.
Did nothing when he was being experiencing all that violence or whatever as a kid.
And the Christians are responding saying failure of practitioners doesn't mean a false principle, because people don't get it.
And somebody said real communism has never been tried.
I mean, it makes me think of what you're saying, like empty, maybe just kind of like, let me just respond because I just know it's wrong because Christianity told me.
Yeah,
opposed to like,
I'm on Team Christian, and
right.
I know that I still think that this is right.
Hey, fair
and so
enough.
let me help this blind person, even though I'm still blind.
So anything else interesting here before we get to some calls? What do you guys say?
Yeah, I was trying to remember his upbringing, but
Oh yeah,
just from what I've seen, like he kind of sounds sort of like a brat in a way, like an only child, because he's always looking for how to get, how to make himself feel better. Like when somebody does him wrong, like when you were talking about forgiveness, he was kind of like, forgiveness is getting, 120%, back. It just sounds like he's just going through something right now where, he's he's got this only child syndrome, and he's kind of just real selfish right now. That's what it kind of
this
seems
path will lead him to? Do you think this, in general, I guess maybe for anyone listening, maybe not even Stefan, I mean, is this a path to like bitterness and misery, or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or like
he's gonna be alone. He's gonna be crying in his room in a fetal position.
He says he's happily married. He's been happily married for, I think he says, a quarter of a century. Well, I guess 25 years. What?
That sounds right.
He's been married for 25 years.
I think so. I think I saw him right that somewhere.
Oh shoot.
But he says happily, just so you know.
Happily.
So crying in a fetal position. He's happily married
with his
sir.
wife next to him.
Let's see here. We got calls.
Shots fired. We also have super chats as well.
Super chats and calls. Let's do it. I got one right here, and we're gonna open up the mic here. Hey, caller, your name and where are you calling from? You're on with Punchy TV, the Peeps.
It's me.
Who am I talking with? Yes, you. That's you.
This is James from Tennessee.
Hey, James.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man? I just want to say that I just recently found Jesse's church and been watching it. And, man, to hear the real truth and how it is has changed my way. And, man, I'm feeling more at peace. I'm getting rid of my anger. I mean, it's helped me so much. And I've been trying to gather people up to watch it every Sunday. And this last Sunday when he fell down, the only thing I could say was, well, he dead.
He laughs.
Cancel those words.
Cancel those words.
I cancel those words in the name, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but Jesse always says that. Just make him laugh a little bit, you know what I mean? But tell him we appreciate it. And, he is changing more people, and he knows, helping us find the real truth.
Nice, James. It's James, right?
Yeah, James.
Yes, sir.
Right on,
James.
man. We appreciate that.
James out of Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
How long have you been listening?
I want to.
Oh, I've been listening about a month and a half now.
Amazing.
Yeah,
nice.
I found him through Jesse Savage Moments on YouTube.
Nice.
Good job.
And
Me
I started
too.
watching more, and I heard about the church, and I started watching, So, yeah, I've been going to church my whole life, Baptist, and now just him talking, saying how all that's it's theatrical. You know what I mean? It's just theater. So.
Nice.
It really changed me to see the real truth and how it changes you, and it just makes you stronger. And, it's just amazing, like you said, amazing.
Amazing. What part of Tennessee are you from?
I'm from Warren County, Tennessee.
Oh, Orange County. Okay, nice.
Up in the mountains. We're up in the mountains. That's why we talk kind of funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand you. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Nice.
Oh, you from Memphis? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a big town there.
Oh, yeah. Nice. All right.
I want to go.
All right. We thank you, man.
Yeah. This is usually Jesse's wheelhouse, but we're talking about forgiveness. Did you forgive?
Yes, I haven't. Not my mother yet. My father's already passed away.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to ask him, like, I was raised by my grandparents. So do I forgive them too, or just my real mother?
Maybe
my
your
birth mother.
grandparents too, if they raised you, because if they raised you, they wronged you.
Too.
I would think.
Yeah. Are you angry at them? I guess would be the question.
No,
but it's hard to know.
Not
sometimes.
really.
You ask people and they'll
grandpa,
say, "I'm not mad at my parents," but
well, my grandpa, he's a strong man. He was head of the house.
Nice.
My grandma, when he was around, I guess would, put the evil on me. That's what he says. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Waking me up. You know how mothers are. Even grandmothers are the same.
well, thanks,
So,
James. Appreciate that, man. You were gonna say?
All right. Thank you, sir.
Call me again.
Bye bye.
We got calls coming in. They're rolling. They are filling up the lines. 888-775-3773. How about we do another one?
Sure.
Hey, caller, your name and where are you calling from?
William number 7 from California.
How you doing, sir?
Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, you're
Hello.
live. Can you hear us?
You're on the air.
Oh, okay. Excellent. I'm having a hard time hearing you, sir.
Okay.
I'm breaking the law right now, so forgive me.
I disavow.
So, forgiveness, that guy that you played, some white guy who was bald, and he's talking about, I guess, his past?
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever this guy is, he was pretty interesting. I like his premise. I don't see no flaw in it. It's as he presents it, that if you forgive someone before they truly repent, which, of course, we have to qualify that on a case-by-case basis. How would you know that? But I think that's pretty sound, that you're participating in their sin or maybe have a hand in it, maybe implicit instead of explicit. But I would say that is pretty sound. I don't know. What do y'all think?
How does it sound? You got to explain yourself.
I would say it's sound, because forgiveness, why would God forgive you or anybody? I'm not going to forgive somebody if I know they're not really sorry. They have no intention on changing because they don't think they're wrong, but there is right and wrong. And I'm not qualifying what right or wrong we're talking about, but I would say to forgive somebody, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Let's say I stole from you, but I was hungry, but you shouldn't have stole. You should have came and asked, but you didn't come and ask. You just stole from me. Now, I could forgive you because you're hungry and we're to feed, but you still should come and ask, and I'd gladly give. But if you continue to just steal and not ask me, you're not even giving me the chance to show you godly or brotherly love. So even in that instance, and I'm using that just as an example, that why would I forgive someone if he keeps stealing and not coming and asking? I guess that's how I'm going to.
How does he keep stealing from you? How does he keep stealing from you, and you let that happen? I know this is hypothetical, but
sorry, Nick. Say that again. So what are you saying?
You're saying you can't trust someone that keeps stealing from you, but how is it that they keep stealing from you? How do you keep getting yourself in that situation? I understand it was a hypothetical.
Well, that's why it has nothing to do with trust. You can't trust them because he keeps stealing, but you can. But to overlook evil, I don't think that's right either.
So let's say I stole from you, but I didn't.
It is a balance. I mean, remember the way is in the middle, not one left or to the right or to the left.
I think I got you. Let's say I stole from you, but I wasn't hungry and I wasn't needy. I just wanted to steal from you, and I don't like you. Would you?
I'd have a harder time being nice about it. I'm just being honest. Like food, that's one thing. But let's say, you just stole all my imaginary stuff in my.
So you would not forgive me.
I have a kid who has all this stuff that I've paid for, and I don't do it no more. But let's say he broke in and hacked and got $100 worth of stuff that another family paid for their kid, but he got it all. Now that's not a necessity. Still doesn't make it right that he did that thing. So, or were you making the argument versus food versus frivolous stuff?
Wasn't arguing. I was just asking if you would forgive me if it wasn't if it wasn't even because I was hungry. I wasn't needy or hungry. I just stole from you because I felt like it. Are you saying you would not forgive me?
You were delineating a point.
Well, I'm asking you, would you forgive me if it was like that? Because you said you might forgive somebody because they were hungry and that's why they were stealing. But let's say I stole because I didn't care. You're saying
maybe that doesn't qualify for me. Okay, maybe that doesn't qualify for forgiveness. Thank you for bringing it up like that. So maybe forgiveness is something you need to do for your own sake anyway.
No, I'm asking you, would you forgive me? And if no, why?
If it was something that wasn't food? Is that what you're saying? If it was something that wasn't food?
I'm just asking if you would forgive me in that situation, and if not, why?
And then just, Nick, be patient with me.
My apologies. The question might be weird.
Tell me what you stole if it wasn't food.
Oh, no, it was food. It was food. My apologies. It was food in this case, too.
It was food, and it was your kid's stuff. Right. It was he stole $100 from your kid, too.
To forgive, but if you will not come to me and just ask, because you're still stealing. So, I would say after 2 or 3 times you're not learning. So then why would I forgive you if you have not understood the difference between right and wrong? It's still wrong to steal.
Gotcha. So he's saying basically, to summarize, he wouldn't forgive because I'm not understanding what's right and what's wrong. So until I understand what's right and what's wrong, then he'll forgive me.
Yeah. Or it could be my fault for not being a good teacher, right?
Yeah. It seems like you want to wait until. Yeah, it seems like
Derrick,
you want to.
Shout out, man.
Hey. It seems like you want to wait until you can trust that other person.
How's it going?
In all honesty.
Wait. Of course, So I guess another question I have to ask Derrick is, one, how long have I known this person? Is it a lifelong friend? Is it a new person? Is it a family member? Did he just get into the family and then he's doing all this mess? There's a lot of factors, right?
Yeah, I would argue that none of that stuff really matters, though. You know, because we all have sinned, right?
I would say everything's case by case basis.
Say it again.
Has its own case.
Say it again.
Everything's a case by case basis, is what he
Everything's
said.
a case by case basis.
Is what he said.
Oh, really? That's going to take a lot of time.
You'll reserve the forgiveness until you are in the situation, is what you're saying.
Forgive me for using the word case, because I was talking to a lawyer at lunch, so I apologize. We got deep into some Mormon theology. But I
don't forgive you.
I would say every situation is different.
Every situation
I'm not.
is different.
Forgive me for using the courtroom vernacular.
Are you a Christian?
I absolutely am.
Right on.
Yeah, all right. Well, William, have you heard of this song, Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson?
Yes, sir. I grew up listening to that guy.
Nice. But, yeah, the reason I brought...
He was on the top 40 a lot.
Yeah, the reason I brought that up is because everybody's got to look in the mirror, and they've got to realize, you know, that they're...
correct, sir.
Yeah, that they're truly evil. And so for you to wait until you believe that the other person has truly repented to forgive them, that really says a lot about you, don't you think?
No. I mean, it does, but...
And what does it say about you? What do you think it says about you?
I think you're twisting a little bit. I mean,
How so?
I'll address it.
Yeah. What do you think it says about you
so
first?
I like what you said. In other words, and I don't know if JLP kind of goes against this, but I should put myself in his shoes. In other words, would have I done the same thing with the knowledge I had? And I'm assuming you're talking about the laws of God, doing the right thing, being righteous, growing, as we all should be on this earth. So that's why we should be more patient with our kids and young people. But older people, you usually expect more from them. So I think you're trying. It sounds like, Derrick, you're trying to box it into some scenario, and I just say you have to look at everything. But Derrick, I'd be more than willing to forgive if they really, and even in my spirit, I feel like they're really trying, and maybe they don't get it or they don't understand it. But I think everybody knows that stealing is wrong. You're talking about one of the 10 Commandments, right?
All right, William, you're kind of all over the place, but let's go back to what I asked you, right? Do you remember?
You asked, well, you threw it back on me about the man in the mirror, and that if I'm not willing to forgive, I will try to do one better. Let me do this. So
okay, no, wait. All right,
a coworker.
No, wait. Don't go into your story. Don't go into your story. It's okay. The main point, just because of time. Hold on, wait. Just because of time, and I feel like you were going to go into a story right there. What I'm saying is, and the whole reason I brought up that Man in the Mirror song is because it's important that we have to focus on ourselves, which is what Jesse teaches, right? Work on yourself and realize that you're truly evil, right?
Yeah.
And, all right, so with that being said, for you to look at somebody and say, and to judge and whether or not they've truly forgiven or not, you're essentially playing God in that scenario, right?
You say that.
You're saying, you're basically saying, I feel like this person.
Derrick, I am not. Derrick, I am not.
Wait, you're saying, based off how I feel and what I'm interpreting, that will determine if I decide to forgive this person or not, right?
So then I would ask, why did they steal again? Before I offered forgiveness, I'd ask that person.
So what are you doing? Wait. What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? You're taking your thoughts. You're trusting your thoughts on how you're trusting your
more information.
Oh, okay. William,
more information.
More information. You don't need William. The point I'm trying to make is you don't need all this information.
Derrick.
Do you not see what I'm saying? You're just as evil as the person you're trying to judge.
What do you say to that?
I didn't say I was judging.
I know you did.
Why do you say he's judging in this case, even though he says he's not?
Because right now he's thinking to himself, has this person truly repented or not? Mm-hmm. Is he worthy of my forgiveness? He's not worthy yet. I won't forgive him yet. He hasn't truly forgiven.
What do you say to that, William? Sake, not his sake.
Right.
Well,
It
first
is
I'll
for your
say,
sake. That's
me
a good point.
forgiving is for me, not for him. And whether I realize he's being truthful or if he's being honest with his sorrowfulness or trying to learn, then that's one thing. But don't conflate it with the other. I think we're just missing one another. I don't, for the most part, I agree with everything you guys say, but I don't even know, are we talking about a hypothetical? And I mean, I'm not trying to argue with you guys just to argue. I forgive people all the time. That is my nature. So, but if we're going to get in an intellectual argument, then I'll go because I think that's nonsensical. But it was great talking to you guys.
Totally. Thank you, William. Call us again. Okay, 888-775-3773. So, Derrick, and then we'll move on here. We got super chats, other callers.
Mm-hmm.
So you would say that forgive, it sounds like from what you've been saying so far, like you forgive others not because, essentially because it's not for them, it's for you. Do you agree with such a statement?
Yes.
What does that mean to somebody who doesn't understand that?
Yes, and because you can't control people and what they do, you know? And if you've truly repented, you're saying, okay, I realize that I was covered in sin. I'm truly evil. And just like everybody else on this earth, you know, and I believe that I'm kind of butchering the scripture, but by one man, sin entered the world. So we're all messed up and corrupted. And, you know, we're all evil, and I'll just keep it plain like that. So for you to see your brother or your sister who is evil just like you and to say, you know, we're both evil, but I'm not going to forgive you until I think you're a little less evil than me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's clear.
I don't really like the term forgiveness is for you. I just don't like that term. Everybody says that.
Why? Everybody says
everybody
it, right?
says it.
Yeah,
one.
people were saying it to Stefan Molyneux.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like, forgiveness is for you, bro, not
So
for them.
it's selfish.
And he's saying, so it's selfish.
It's partly
so it's
that.
about you.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I mean, in a sense, you could say yes, it's true,
I
but
gotta move.
yeah, let's move.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
This couch.
He's playing a room now.
I mean, I'm sitting black. Yeah.
Somebody was complimenting the couch, saying it makes him look lighter, not so dark.
There you go.
Which is true.
Let me be dark. I'm just
Yeah, it's fine, it's true, I guess, but I just don't like the phrase.
I think I agree somewhat. And
The Bible doesn't say that.
it doesn't say that, huh?
I don't think it says that.
I think I generally agree with that, though, that it is for me and not for them. But the way I square it in my mind is that, you know, the for me part is not
yeah.
that I'm doing something good or pleasurable for me. It's that the sin and the crime or the wrong was me. So forgiveness is for me.
Yeah, you're evil for
It
having
means that
unforgiveness.
Exactly. It's that I'm evil for having unforgiveness. It has nothing to do with the legality, the event, the situation, who deserves what. It has, in fact, zero to do with that in my mind.
Right.
And when I say forgiveness is for me, it's not that I'm giving something, a prize, a little present for myself. No, it's that the evil starts and begins with me. I mean, starts and ends with me. And I think that's how it is with everybody. I mean, in that moment, how can I hate them and judge them? I could still say, you've destroyed my property, sir, in this physical world, and whatever.
Right.
But to hold a judgment against them,
Yeah.
I can't square it once I think about it like that.
And I mean, we could connect this to forgiving your mother, you know, like when you go to your mom, like when Jesse says, go to your mom and forgive. And even if she's, you know, however she reacts, you know, let her be, you know, basically. If she goes crazy, let her stay in her hell. You know, there's nothing you can do to change that at all. So, and in that situation, William probably wouldn't forgive his mom, you know,
she was,
because she overreacted, because of how she reacted to her, because of how she reacted. Oh, she hasn't truly repented, so I'm not going to forgive my mom.
I understood your point.
Does
you
that
were
kinda
making.
make
I was a
sense?
little unsure exactly what he was saying. It sounded like he was saying that he wouldn't, but when we brought it up, he was like, "Wait, actually, I don't quite think like that." So I was unclear, but I see the point you were making. I think for anyone hearing that, it's like you might if you find yourself in that situation, they might be judging the other person.
And I think forgiving is it's for yourself and it's for the other person, because people are going to be looking at you, you know, whether that's your kids, your friends, whoever, they're going to be looking at you. And once you forgive, you get this inner peace, and you move with it and you operate with it, and people are going to notice. And some people might even ask you, you know, where are you getting this peace from? And that's going to be a chance to spread it, because people are going to be observing you. They're going to be like, this guy's really peaceful. You know, he just got fired from his job. You know, he just got cussed out by this, you know, whoever, and he's still peaceful. But I think that goes back to what we were talking about, just realizing that we're all evil, and that, you know, the true deceiver is working right now, and he's manipulating everyone. So
There's a worldly sense of forgiveness in which Biden thinks that he has the power to forgive the loans of these leeches.
Oh, like
The students,
Yeah.
the scum of the earth. They were given money by the government to be brainwashed by the government or by these schools, some of them private, somewhat. And then he's going to forgive the loans, or like the sense that William the Seventh or William number 7 and Stefan were kind of talking about, where you forgive the thief so that he doesn't owe you that debt anymore of what he stole from you, 120%. But that's not what the forgiveness is that Christians are talking about. It's where you're not mad about it; they still owe you.
Right. And that's in Deuteronomy, anyways. Old
Yeah.
Testament.
I mean, I like the year of Jubilee where
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro no longer owes Jesse Lee Peterson that lunch because it's
That's
been more than
right.
7 years. So he doesn't owe him lunch anymore.
The viewers will hold on to it, maybe.
Right.
There's those people out there that will hold on to that.
That's because they harbor hatred in their hearts.
Right. They might have to forgive. Some people, it's like a debt is a debt, James. Okay?
Indeed.
That's a dinner. Right. Hey, I'm looking at the Bible, folks. Well, so there's more calls. You said there's super chats. How do we do
Indeed.
this? You want to do some supers?
Yeah, let's do them. I'll do them in kind of reverse order on YouTube. The last shall be first, and the first last. GRAIG, G-R-A-I-G. True forgiveness is humbleness, he says. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Lin Yun Chin says, Derrick, D-E-R-R-I-C-K, and he spelled it correctly, is quite calm and coherent in rendering sapience to William number 7, who is lost in mama drama. I didn't realize Derrick has this much sapience. Live long and prosper emoji, drumstick chicken piece emoji, and slice of watermelon emoji.
oh my gosh, yo.
And Lin Yun
It was
Chin
a
is
compliment.
Lin Yun Chin is part black, so he can do it.
That's
yeah, you can
true.
do that.
Yeah, and he's also Jamaican.
I love it.
I forgot about it. Yeah.
You say people sin against each other? Question mark. That might have been something I said. Well, it was. I remember. Actual sin equals divergence from truth. People are not truth. Equals, which means we cannot sin against them, only against truth / God, quote unquote. Thank you, Lin Yun Chin, for the correction, perhaps. He also says, Stefan. I call it Stefan because I hear Stefan calling himself Stefan.
Okay,
Otherwise, I
we'll go
would have been
Stefan.
Stefan.
My bad.
But Stefan means accept when others beg for mercy, he says. And Stefan Molyneux is a mouth breather, which is intellectual, posing as sane and sapient, but is actually a traumatized mess. Does good work for such a mummified mess, he says. Indeed, he's your fellow Canadian.
Right. He's going hard on him.
I really think that he is a net positive in the world. A lot of people who found JLP found him by way of Stefan Molyneux's interviews of him.
And I think this forgiveness conversation has been it's a little bit more layered and cooler than just Stefan, you don't get the Christian thing. I really do sincerely believe that. I just
You know, a lot of times he'll say this phrase, not an argument,
Yeah.
not an argument. You are giving a statement,
Right.
which is not an argument. A statement only works. I don't know if he said statement. He said something else. But you're making an assertion, and an assertion only works if somebody already agrees with your assertion.
Right.
And that's what JLP does. He does an assertion, and he'll do a little bit of logic as well. And a lot of times his assertions, people can't help but agree with them. They can see that they're true.
And it's one of these assertions that got me interested in this anyways, because he's so smart. And in all this, I thought he was quite smart, deeper than a lot of the Christians responding. But it was one response where someone said to him that this is a path, this is a good way to end up miserable if you never forgive. And he said, that's not an argument.
Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, that is an argument. That's actually true. Or it's an assertion.
Right.
And then you could not believe it, but
Yep.
anyways.
Nice. And Kohlberger Art says, hey, guys, the new couch looks amazing, makes Derrick look light brown in contrast. He black. That's the one who said it. I just stole his thunder. Thank you, Kohlberger Art. Lin Yun Shin says, Prince of Prance not here? Remaining 3 are the Triforce. Sparkle Blouse is Courage. Derrick is BHI. Black Hebrew Israelite Power as my apprentice. Hake is not wisdom.
little Zelda video game knowledge for you.
Nice. Zit says, it's a pleasure to forget about people and then return to remembrance of them. People always on my mind I tend to hate. Anyway, I watched yesterday, just kidding. Scrunch face, big smile emoji, which is X capital D.
Right on.
Welcome back, Punchy TV, exclamation mark, from Harmony. Thank you kindly, Harmony.
Shout out.
Indeed. And Coffee Talk with Sandra is here for it over on Pilled. And what's
Hey.
up, Buddy, Crichton, Pallid, and Creighton, not Crichton.
Right.
And the rest over on the D Live crew, Dustin and all you guys. Nice.
Solid.
Sweet.
Shout out.
Caller?
Indeed.
Hey, caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, my name is Lucas.
What's up, Lucas? How you doing, sir?
Lucas, California.
Yeah. Thank you for calling.
Hey, I just wanted to wonder, where's Joel?
He's out.
Look under
He's
your
gone.
chair. I'm just kidding.
Gone.
Let me stop.
That's funny. I was wondering if it's because he got married that he's like not working there anymore.
I don't know.
No, it's we don't discuss.
That's not why?
We don't
I don't
discuss
know.
the business.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
No point.
sorry. Hold up. 1 second. Hold up. I just got off the bus and my bike is stuck to the front of the thing. Okay. Oh shoot! The guy's telling me to pull up the cage.
Okay, yeah.
All right, Lucas,
handle
we'll
your
put you
handle
on
your
the-
business, Lucas.
Hey, caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Another caller. Are you there?
Am I home?
Yes,
Yes,
you're
sir.
on. Hey.
It's Michael from Canada.
Michael from Canada.
Canada.
Yes, sir.
Michael.
I mean, you know what's funny about forgiveness?
What?
That no one forgets.
No one forgets.
You know, you can forgive, but you don't forget, because words are spoken and disappeared, but action will always live.
I don't know, man.
That's a punchline right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What?
nice. Yeah, people.
I feel like
Hey, what's
actions
up,
come and go
Derrick,
just
man?
like words.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, we're not God. God
I-
forgets sin.
I feel like words you can
Exactly,
you can
and,
hate people for words
I
more than
really
actions
like what you
sometimes.
said,
That's
Hake,
true.
about that, because there's no forgiveness. There's only understanding.
Hey.
And I think that's the bottom of it. You know, you need to understand people. And when you do the sorry, I'm French.
I love that.
French.
Oh, yeah.
When you do something that is horrible, you know, like killing someone or raping, or
Yeah.
you need to understand, you know, not judge, and just understand that sometimes things happen, And maybe raping is not a good example for that, but you know,
It's extreme. Sort of extreme, but I
things
mean,
happen, man. We got to be understanding.
you got to go there. Yeah.
But you're saying,
For each other.
even with an extreme example, you're saying the rapist should be forgiven?
Not forgive because we never forget.
So that's how you
Actions
live.
are made and they stay. No, I don't forgive anybody. I'm
So
not
you
God,
never
bro.
forget is what you're saying.
No.
And that doesn't allow you to forgive?
What you mean? What you mean?
Are you saying that you're unable to forgive because you can't forget?
Yeah, sort of.
Oh, so you're saying
Yeah.
if someone was to, I don't want to say that, maybe essay? Yeah, maybe if someone was essayed, so would you tell that person to forgive the person who did that to them?
No, but I understand.
So don't forgive, but understand.
Yeah, we all evil, man.
Nice.
So hold that
Sounds like the
grudge.
same thing to me. Forgiveness, understanding sounds like the same in
Yeah, that's
your
what,
short description.
Yeah, that's what. Because I work in the gas stores, and there's a lot of bums. They want free coffee, and I always told them there's no free coffee. Not because there's no free coffee, because I don't want to give them free coffee. Nobody can't help anybody. You got to do for yourself, man. It's a crude world.
I think the Bible says that God throws our sins.
Sorry, Hake, I got a hard time.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Wow, he's joking.
I can, but
No.
it's
It's far away. That's what William
Yeah,
number 7
far
was
away.
saying too. Yeah, so the Bible says,
That's it. Yeah.
I
Listen
think, that
good.
God throws our sins into the sea of forgetfulness.
That's it.
As far as the east is from the west,
That's true.
our sins are from him.
Say that again, Derrick, for him, because I hear you well, Derrick, but I
Oh, you
can't
can hear me well?
Hake.
In fact, how
Interesting.
about,
Yeah, I can hear you well.
how about,
No, go ahead.
No. It'll interfere.
I was just going to pass the mic, but he was saying that God forgets our sins, which is biblical, it's true. And real quick, I was going to ask you, what would you tell that person if they walked around with a grudge for that individual who essayed them? What would you say then?
Anger is never good. You can't be angry to anybody because you can't do the same.
Okay, so they should forgive him?
No, you understand that you are not better than him.
But you can understand and still be, you can claim you understand and still have that anger.
Yeah, that's why you never forget.
Never
You can
forget.
forgive, but you never forget.
The real point I'm trying to make is once you really understand, forgiveness comes out of that. Wouldn't you agree? If you truly understand that, hey, that person was being manipulated by Satan, he couldn't help himself. Just like me, I couldn't help myself. How can you, how could you still hold that grudge if you truly understand?
Did I talk about grudge? Did I say that I got grudge about something or someone? I never talk about that. I never talk about being angry about
I'm really just trying to get you to say,
Yeah.
forgive.
He's
But
Christianing you.
I got the point. I get the point that you make. But,
Hey, mettons une croix dessus.
what did you say?
Put a cross in it.
Put a cross in it.
I don't. Did you try to speak French?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I didn't understand.
Let's move on.
Right on. So keep
Salut,
understanding.
comment allez-vous?
Keep understanding. I push forgiveness, though, in all honesty.
Appreciate it, Michael.
I thought you
Anything
were
else
my
wanna say?
fellow Nazi, bro. What the?
What?
No, I'm kidding. Okay, all right, bros. God bless you all. I love y'all.
All right, bet.
Thanks, Michael. So,
Nice. There was something else that I thought of with him. I know we're going long, but about forgiveness and a peaceful man is not even offended in the first place and doesn't even think of it. Whereas some of my callers, my petty callers, or my petty self will remember if somebody mentions my name and says something about me. You know how my callers get all
Right.
Mention my name, I have to respond.
Right.
That's because they remember it. They remember it because they took it personally, because they believe in this evil thing called a self. So they're selfishly, pridefully defending themself, and that's why they remember it, is because they had an emotional attachment to what was said or done against them. But a person who's not even offended in the first place doesn't even remember what they're talking about. Somebody, for example, apologized to me for something said in a super chat, and I had to think back to remember what the super chat even was. And only because I have a decent memory, just in general about stuff, did I remember, oh yeah, it was making fun of Hake for not being around when Jesse fell and you picked him up.
Oh.
They're like, where's Hake?
They don't even know the geometry of the room.
Right. And I explained it, but I wasn't offended. I was just
Right.
explaining it. But this person said, oh, I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean it like that. I was just being funny. I just thought it was funny.
Gotcha.
I'm like, no, I didn't even think anything of it.
Right.
That's a
But
good
the
point.
same thing is somebody calls you beater, and they don't, and you're not even mad about it because whatever.
Yeah.
You
No.
didn't think twice about it.
It's true. I'm just kidding.
Anchor baby beater. You got to try harder than that.
That's a good
I
point.
think you got to get closer.
But
to
say
the-
somebody, it's the same level. It should be the same level, ideally, what Jesus did, which was they actually beat him, they betrayed him, they lied about him, they smeared his name, and did everything to offend him, and he didn't hold it against them.
That's true.
lesson.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Lesson there.
Defending that
Forgot
ego.
it. Yeah.
I like that you. I like that you remember that. That was a perfect point.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think there's any point in getting into any of these other stories.
I
How
know.
about we just rock these calls? Have been waiting.
Indeed.
All right, caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hi, we're talking to you.
Oh, hi. Hey, Nick. This is CSAL.
What's up, CSAL? How you doing?
From Texas.
Hola.
That's right.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Derrick.
Hi, CSAL.
Tex-Mex.
Hey.
CSAL the Tex-Mex.
Amazing topic. Can you hear me?
We can
Yeah.
hear you. It's just that you can't hear me.
This is something strange with the phones, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're hearing you.
Hey. Oh, okay. Yeah, Hake sounds super duper. He sounds like he's outside in the break room.
Chat, let us know, is
anyway,
Hake far away for you guys or only for the callers? Type 1 in the
No.
chat if Hake sounds fine. Go ahead, CSAL.
when I was in the chat earlier, Hake sounds perfect. You guys all sounds perfect. It's
Okay.
just me right now on
And
the
the
phone.
call
Yeah.
is weird.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a super interesting topic. Thank you for taking my call, and I'm super happy to see you guys back, and I'm super happy to see Derrick. Yeah, so you know what, I was going to say something else. Well, first of all, I was going to say it's kind of crazy to what Stefan said, to wait for somebody to ask you for forgiveness or to apologize to you. Because number one, they could be lying, right? Number one, they could just pretend in their hearts
Right.
they're still hating you. First
That's
and
true.
foremost, it could be fake,
That's
and
true.
you're all over here waiting for them to apologize, and then they could change their mind later, whatever. But what I'm thinking about right now is actually when Jesus was being crucified, Jesus, the Son, told God the Father, "Forgive them, for they know not what they're doing." He didn't say, God, you're going to have to wait for the humans to ask you. No, he said, forgive them, for they know not. While he was being crucified. So I think it's pretty clear that it doesn't matter what anybody has done to me, said to me. I'm supposed to forgive them and wish them well and pray for them and bless them.
Right. That's beautiful.
You know, because anything else, there's so many variables that can change.
That's so true. Yeah. I forgot who was trying to make that point, but I think that was we just got off the phone with, who was that? Michael. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the whole thing I wanted Michael to see, is that forgiving is, it's understanding, and like you just explained, is just understanding, and it's just beautiful once you really see what's going on. Dang, that was a good point you made. I'm not gonna lie.
CSAL, quick thoughts on this. Low Devil's Avocado. There's a lot of Christians saying similar things that forgiveness is for you and etc. And for example, here's Stefan Molyneux responding about all these Christians failing to show love. He asks, "What if they all fail? They all fail at this purpose they're talking about. How do you square that? What do you make of that? That all Christians are failing, seemingly failing at this very thing they're asking Stefan to do."
They're failing at what? At showing forgiveness or grace?
To summarize, yeah.
Huh. Because it's a horrible reality, but the reality is that 99% of Christians are not really Christians. They're just like everybody else. They just label themselves or identify with Christianity. But it's very, very few that actually are living it out, like actually living the forgiveness and the grace. So he's kind of right. Like, what do you mean, you guys? So I don't know. I could be wrong, though.
I agree. I think that the atheists oftentimes, and even the liberals, have a point about conservatives and Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And religion. I kind of like that when he's saying that in his pursuit to finding a cure to evil, that religion stands in his way. I think he's kind of right about that. In that when I think of religion, I'm thinking of what man has done with the word, etc. What man has done with tradition and turned it into what we call religion in my mind. So I think he's right when he puts them up in opposition. I think religion is in opposition, at least mainstream, to any sort of cure to evil.
It's like what Derrick said at the beginning, I think, of the show when he was talking about what Stefan's understanding of forgiveness is. He said this may break down to semantics. But what is semantics but a misunderstanding of what is meant by these words in the Bible and principles and things, or even what forgiveness actually is spiritually as opposed to worldly wise. Your mind is defining these things, and it's rejecting or embracing something as true or false, agreeing or disagreeing. And it's basically your mind getting too busy to define something, undermining your understanding. It's like what Lin Yan Chin says, be still so that you can realize. Shout out Lin Yan Chin.
Deep.
CSAL, thanks. Last thought?
That's it. I think it's so funny when Hake quotes Lin Yan Chin. But yeah,
The
thank
book
you for
of
taking my
LYC.
call, guys.
Verse 3.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, CSAL.
Bye.
Rucking these calls real fast. Hey, caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Lucas from California.
Oh, Lucas, go ahead. We had to put you on hold. There was a lot of noise. You were saying.
I understand, yeah. No, I was just wondering, like, where's Joel at?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But he's
Well,
gone.
I mean,
He's
yeah,
gone.
you don't have
That's
to
it.
get personal.
No, it's not
Yeah.
even. It's not even available. It's just he's gone. That's it.
Yeah, no, dude. Hey, man, Nick, you're the man right now, dude. I saw Sunday
The
at
Glaze
church.
Fest.
That is what's up, man.
But
I wanted to tell you guys a joke, and then I have a question.
All right.
But it's a dad joke, but it's a Christian dad joke. So there's two men, and they believe in God.
Try not to laugh.
And then they start arguing. That's the joke.
You gotta say that again.
Two men, and they believe in God, and they start arguing.
That's just like a fact. That's just like a fact.
I know. It's just
Are they Jews?
It's just a funny joke.
Are they
But
Christians?
I wanted to know your guys' stance on. Well, not your stance, I shouldn't say,
That's a
but
fact, man. But go ahead.
do you
If they were
do you
Muslims,
guys
they'd kill
notice?
each
I'll
other.
just say this: do you guys notice
Shout
a
out.
wave of like people now? They say anti-Semitic, but people are just against this whole supporting Jewish thing. And what do you guys like think about that? Like how now people like freedom of speech is getting now like way more freedom because of Trump. And now that Trump is straight up just like, what the F, Israel, and like now people are just like, okay, now Trump is like really understanding. Like now we could just say anything about Jewish people. Do you guys notice that, and what do you guys think about it?
I think I do notice that actually. Trump brought in the spirit of the freedom of speech.
Hello? Or do you guys not?
Oh man!
You just can't hear me, man. I'm just really quiet in your ear.
Hake is
far
not
away,
being heard in my part,
in
my end.
Yeah, so
I can hear you, Nick, clearly.
I say, Hake, say you're taking so the audience can at least hear you. I'll tell you in a sec here, Lucas.
Trump brought in the spirit of the freedom of speech because he has that spirit, and so he just speaks his mind, and it's almost always the truth, and it's in love, and it's so refreshing. And some people just want to pop off at the mouth, because they think that that's what Trump is doing. And a lot of Trump supporters pop off at the mouth, and but they should be able to pop off at the mouth sometimes. This is America. So, yes.
Yeah, he sees that too, Lucas. You know what, Bill, real quick, check the subs. Yeah. I think it might be the subs. Mike, James, I just realized James Mikes might be on the other sub from the previous Punchy tapings. But basically he just said, yeah, he sees that too. He sees that too, that Trump brought in the spirit of free speech. And yeah, some might want to pop off at the mouth and use that in a different way. But essentially he agrees. He does see that Trump brought in this spirit of free speech. Is that a fair summary?
Yep.
You hear me, Lucas?
Yeah.
And that's essentially what Hake said.
And that's what he said. Okay, now I think we should get rid of AIPAC because I saw something. I don't know if you watch Mark Dice, but somebody said, it wasn't even Mark Dice that said it. It was something that he showed from a while ago, that no one has like a lobby, like there's no Australian lobby party. There's no like Africa lobby party. It's only Israel. Like, don't you think that there's something? And then I'm hearing about like a spy. They're spying on us. Israel's spying on us. Like, don't you think there's something up with Israel? And I'm also realizing too is that they don't even really traditionally follow their actual Jewish like religion in Israel. That's why they're the most. Tel Aviv is the most like homosexual place in the world, like capital, like the party for homosexuality is Tel Aviv. It says that there's several articles of Tel Aviv being like the number one place for homosexuality.
I've heard stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've said a few things. Some stuff I'm just not familiar with. I don't know how well they do or don't practice Judaism over there. But.
Yeah, I did know that Tel Aviv was kind of like San Francisco and Atlanta. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't see what's wrong with different people getting special treatment. What's wrong with that?
There's all sorts of lobbies.
But I just think there's a difference of the like Israelis and the Israeli government. I think the Israelis aren't actually the Israeli government, and that's why people are just hating on regular Jewish people, because the Israeli government is like, gosh dang, I like Putin, and I like that's why Jesse says about his 3 dream team, but
that's right.
But
Trump,
not the Netanyahu.
Netanyahu.
But how is Netanyahu any different from
Netanyahu
Putin?
is all man, baby.
Because Netanyahu is but you know what? Actually, let me smoke on that, okay? Because how is Netanyahu different from Putin? I need to smoke on that one.
Yeah, they're both waging war.
They're both waging war in America.
I disclaim war.
Right.
But anyway.
But what else? What were you saying there?
Free speech.
Free speech, yeah, hell yeah.
Trump.
I'm for AIPAC. AIPAC, whatever.
AIPAC. Well,
I mean, I'm not for them. I'm just not against them. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay,
I'm not for ADL. I have many criticisms of ADL and all those other SPLC types.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'll be for AIPAC. I'll be for AIPAC, Hake, as long as you're for looking into seeing what they're doing. Are you for that? Like, let's just see what exactly they're doing. Like, don't you want to know exactly what AIPAC is doing?
Do it for me and then report back.
Okay, all right. I'm down with that. Yes, okay. So we are agreeing in a way. Good. All right, awesome.
Nice.
All right, man. Well, you guys have a good one. I know there's more callers.
Thanks, Lucas.
Right on, man.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Call us again. All right, last call here. Let's do it. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Greg. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio.
Hey, Greg, appreciate your call. You're on the air.
So, like, what's the whole subject with forgiveness that you guys started off with?
Well, I mean, it just got kicked off with the Stefan Molyneux tweet and discussion over forgiveness. He was disagreeing with the Christians about it. At times disagreeing with the Christians. And I mean, he essentially believes, he said this is Greg.
Greg? From Florida?
From Florida, you said?
Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown, Ohio. And
G-R-E-G?
G-R-E-G?
G-R-A-I-G.
Oh, hey, thank you for the super chat.
What's
I'm
up?
glad I asked. Dang.
I could hear you loud
He
and
can hear
clear.
you.
Hake.
Sweet.
It was the sub. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
Nick and Bill, with their powers combined, they are genius.
Tell Derrick not to have such a serious face all the time.
He's chill.
Why do you care about my face so much? You're in your thoughts, bro.
You just always look mad or like you're trying to
Me mugging.
out.
It's
You're
called,
in your-
Yeah.
it's called growing up in Memphis, man.
I want you to know you're in your thoughts right now.
So
So,
yeah,
but that's
forgiveness.
essentially it. He's disagreeing with some of the Christians, but he put it. To summarize, he's saying if you forgive someone who has not repented of their sin, I'm kind of paraphrasing, then you are participating in their sin, and that kicked off a whole discussion.
Yeah, man. Like my forgiveness was, I had to go through that humbleness, you know, like seeing the evil in me and the wrongs that I've done in my life, and I would beg God for forgiveness. And I had 2 older brothers that were heavily addicted to drugs, and I judged the crap out of them, dude. Judged the crap out of them. And I had to go through understanding my own evil and how much I wanted forgiveness, and to see that they are just like me. There's no pedestal that I'm above them, below them. Everybody's on the same playing field.
That's
Everybody's
true.
evil. You
That's
ain't getting
true.
out. You ain't getting out of it. And until you understand forgiveness and you learn not to judge, you learn to live your life as peaceful as possible, you'll live in chaos. You know?
That is so true.
Did judging your brother like that, did that negatively impact your life in any way?
Hell yeah, dude. You know, there was one time he grabbed a baseball bat on me, dude. I actually grabbed it on him. He stole it off me. And then he was going to swing at me. So, yeah, it affected my life negatively.
Help the viewers
Judging him.
understand how not forgive, how unforgiveness. How do you help us bridge that gap between unforgiveness and, you know, now you're, you know, about to swing a bat against each other?
Yeah.
It might be clear for some, but maybe not for others.
It's understanding how evil you are. And you don't want to be that way once you understand the evilness in you. You're like, why am I this way? Well, you were born that way, and you were traumatized, and everybody's against everybody. That's not what God intended for us. And I think that's why we have this mess we're having now.
Greg, man, thanks.
Think about forgiveness, man. Like Paul, who was Saul. Dude, he was capturing people. He might have captured your father, sent him to his death. And then the Holy Spirit comes upon him. Jesus shows that he will be persecuted just like Jesus was. So Paul had to understand that true forgiveness. He had to go to people and preach how to live through the Holy Spirit, even though he might have captured somebody's father and sent them to their death. Like, that's intense.
Intense. I love it. I love it, yo.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that, man.
Great call, man.
This was
Youngstown,
amazing,
Ohio.
man.
Have Jesse come out here because Youngstown's struggling, but it was the steel city of the United States, and I'll represent Youngstown till the day I die.
Are there people
So-
ODing on opioids in Youngstown, Ohio?
No, man, you just got rough people that live up here. You
Nice.
got rough people. And strong people, but rough. Like, you don't want to mess around.
Rough whites
you
or
just
blacks
gotta learn how
or
to-
Latinos?
No, it's 50-50 black and white.
Nice.
A lot of black people moved into Youngstown area, a lot of Italians. So it's heavy Italian, white. I'm Slovak, so I'm the white of the whites. So, but I work for a family business up here, floor covering.
Between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Ohio is
Yes, sir. Steel City. Steel City.
close to the border.
In World War II, they used to make artillery here because it was so cloudy, so
Nice.
the Germans couldn't spy on Youngstown.
You're out
We were
east
making
of
a bunch of heavy artillery here.
Nice.
That's like it was one of the steel cities.
east of Akron.
Yep.
Sweet, man.
Nice, man. That was a good testimony.
Nice, Greg. Thank you.
Love
sure.
you guys.
That was
You
nice.
guys are cool. I appreciate you guys a lot.
Thank you,
too.
man.
Stay with it.
Yes.
Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. That was beautiful, man.
We done did the calls. We did topics here.
Let me double check for any remaining supers. I think we're caught up. Thank you all kindly.
Beautiful.
Very kindly.
A little live epi for you. Any final thoughts here, Bill?
No thoughts. Look at him.
You
Hey,
ain't forgiving nobody, or
I
what?
heard him groan on mic, so that's good.
You're like, whatever
All right.
on this forgiveness, or what? Yay or nay?
You got it?
Let me see. Forgiveness.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I agree with you guys. I agree with what I heard. pretty
Beautiful.
much. I think Stefan Molyneux is just he believes.
Make sure his mic is loud enough.
he
Oh, yeah, I'll do
believes-
that.
Oh,
Don't worry, I got you. Keep going.
he believes that something, somebody has to do something. With the injustice, and that's at the core of what he said.
That's true.
Yeah, but the problem is it's like who's to judge? Or, okay, one of the things is, okay, people get resentment is at the heart of our of our depression and everything else, bad. I mean, stuff like when you get resentful, one of the things you do is you come up with some solution. You're compelled to come up with these solutions, and these solutions are always like, I'm going to do to them what they did to me, okay, when next time, or when I deal with a situation like this, or I'll do the opposite. I won't do that to anybody or whatever. And through all this, you're like literally programming yourself. You're literally putting yourself in a box.
Facts.
And you're this is also the mechanism by which you're becoming like your parents. You become like your parents over time, over those thousands of interactions with your parents. You become as crazy as they are. You're like exactly like them, or you're like the opposite, but balanced you are not. And what he's talking about, it's just not going to work. Spiritual, when the Bible, what they're talking about is spiritual, and that's like just a different paradigm, period. I mean, because a couple of things I heard, like, for instance, you have to understand the other person on the other end. I mean, to truly understand the person on the other end who's doing whatever to you, you'd have to be as crazy as they are.
Which you kind of are.
Right, exactly. You got to be as crazy as
good.
they are, to come up with the stuff.
We are. Yeah.
So this stuff, what he's talking about is just like not going to work. It's just not. It's not humanly feasible. It'll just make things worse.
Boomer Bill.
He's Gen X.
Oh.
Close enough. Basically.
Yeah, boomer. No. Wow.
That was nice.
Yeah, and spiritual is just a different paradigm. I mean, it's just about being real. And yeah, the stuff we're talking about here, this anger, it's going to end up in making things less real, you know, and trying to hold all these grudges and all this stuff. I mean, it's just going to weigh people down and trap you. And then you're going to feel trapped. And then you're going to walk around, you know, being out of control and trapped. What's that word called? A NPC. You'll be the NPC, an NPC, a non-playing character.
Told you it was
going
not a
around
boomer.
there, going around in there, going around in your stuck in your box,
Right.
You know, doing your thing, and you'll be looking at it. Oh, I'm an NPC. You know, so that's what I have to say about it. Yeah, and spiritual is just not like this. Just that's all. It's just a totally different kind of thing. And spiritual is about being real, and it's workable.
Yeah.
For
Straight up.
lack of words right now.
Yeah. Would
No,
you
that's
agree?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying, are you telling, like, I know young people, they care about being real. Are you saying that if you got over this anger, you'd be they'd be real finally, how they want to be?
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. This anger's actually controlling you, and it's bringing on depression and all kinds of mess, and making a mess of things. It's making you more unreasonable. That's the end product. And that's how your parents, you know, ended up so crazy or so unreasonable. They had the same thing happen to them. And you're coming up with the same solutions they're coming up with for everything. And, you know, it's just not workable.
That's it, folks. Mic drop.
I agree. You've got to transcend spiritually, mentally. Yeah.
Do we have the closing music?
I don't have that. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to sing.
Because that means that we don't have a last question.
Oh, that's right. I don't know if we know how to operate from here.
I feel like we're falling apart without the man who created Punchy TV.
We're falling apart here.
Well,
but,
much
you know,
appreciation to him.
Right. I'm 100%. And to our viewers and all that who tuned in on this fine Wednesday, I hope you enjoyed Punchy today with the peeps, the Punchy peeps, the experts. But we're going to say goodbye here. That's it from us. We'll be back for more Punchy in the future. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that. And the rest of the network, folks.
Punchy TV. PUNCHIE TV. Well, I'll do a last question anyway, huh? Or do you want to do the last question?
No. It's on your mind. Get it off.
How do we end this?
Oh, you're talking about that.
Oh.
I'm thinking a real question.
Nice.
Right? Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Bill's mad. I would be too.
Was he going to say something?